Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar. We have an exciting topic today, MAPEI Cementitious Flooring Solutions, and you're in for a treat. We have three presenters today. Joining us is Maurizio Lucarelli. Maurizio is an Italian native who has more than 20 years of experience in the construction industry. But actually, he has a lifetime of experience because since 1934, the Lucarelli family has built almost 1.2 million square feet of real estate throughout Italy. In 2010, Maurizio began working with MAPEI Spa as a specialist in resin flooring under the Cementitious and Resin Flooring department in Milan. In 2014, he moved to the United States and founded a technical consulting firm. Maurizio joined MAPEI Corporation in 2020 as the product line manager and business development leader for CRS Flooring. Joining him is Michael Grimes and Andrew Pritt. Co-presenters Michael, covering the Western U.S., and Andrew, covering the Eastern U.S., have more than 30 years of experience between them in the U.S. decorative and industrial flooring industry. They joined MAPEI Corporation in 2023 as specialists for the Cementitious and Resin Flooring Systems line. They'll be creating a strong team to support the line. Michael and Andrew bring specialized knowledge to continue developing and expanding the Cementitious and Resin Flooring Systems line in the U.S. market. Just as a housekeeping item, there is a question box, so feel free to drop any questions that may pop up during the presentation, and at the end, we'll do a Q&A session. All right, without further ado, Michael, Andrew, Maurizio, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brianna. Thank you for the introduction, and hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. So we can't wait to share all of the Ultratop systems talking about cementitious topping and micro-toppings today. So we will see the performance and how we can custom floors with cementitious topping and micro-toppings. One of the key point of the systems that MAPEI is offering is also the SCIS global certification for VOC emissions. So based on that, we can apply our Ultratop systems in all of the green building projects with green point and lead point for all of the programs that we are having here and more. So actually, we are free to share all of the certification, the third-party certification we have for green projects in our website, or contacting us through email directly to the right department. So, Andrew, let's talk about the Ultratop systems now.
All right, I appreciate it, Maurizio. This is Andrew out of Pennsylvania. Kind of like what Maurizio was talking about, what we're going to first start talking about is our Ultratop toppings and go over our Ultratop Natural System, our Ultratop Polished System, and as well as our Ultratop Terrazzo System. Then after we're completed that, we'll go over our Ultratop Loft micro-toppings, which is a horizontal as well as a vertical system, which means you can go on floors, walls, as well as ceilings. So going over the three different types of systems that we can do with our Ultratop overlay is our natural system, which is designed for indoor concrete floors, giving you that natural effect with the different shading and lines. Our Ultratop polished system, which can be designed for indoor use only for dry polishing techniques, as well as extending our Ultratop to turn it into a terrazzo system, very similar to an epoxy terrazzo. So to start off with, all the concrete needs to be prepared to a CSP03, which CSP stands for concrete substrate preparation. That can either be achieved by grinding, but the best way to achieve that is to actually shot blast the floor using a mechanical pulverizer that will give you that CSP03. And kind of showing what, for those folks who don't know what a shot blaster looks like, we have a little video showing the floor being shot blasted here on the floor. Basically what it is, it's a machine that will shoot little BBs into the floor with a vacuum system and will leave you the nice surface preparation at the same time to vax up any dust or anything like that. Now, during the shot blasting process, you'll actually see a lot more cracks or deforms or damaged spots or anything like that in the concrete. And it's very important that the cracks are repaired, whether using a crack repair for gravity feed with epoxy resin or epoxy injection, But the surface preparation is key to any performance of your floor. The surface prep is not done properly and your cracks aren't filled properly, there's a chance that the system might fail. So any crack needs to be routed out, chased out, filled in with an epoxy or polyurea, as well as any hole or anything like that needs to be repaired. And once that is completed as well, you also have to think about your control joints. So with the control joints inside your floor, control joints are designed to allow the concrete to move. If the control joints are not honored throughout the entire topping, there's a chance that your topping will have cracks in there as well. So after the material is placed, you need to know where your control joint layout is to make sure that you can actually saw cut them back through the entire topping that you'll be completing. Okay. So once you get your application done, your surface preparation, your cracks filled and everything, then what you do is you apply an epoxy primer. This is our epoxy primer SN. We recommend putting it down 15 to 20 mils with a 3/16 inch V-notch squeegee. And then really importantly, make sure that you back roll it just to make sure that you have uniformity throughout the entire epoxy. Once that is completed, then what you do is you do a full sand broadcast to rejection with a 16 to 30 mesh sand, which is our MAPEI sand course. Now, important here is that when we say rejection, we mean rejection. It has to be to the point that it looks like a beach out there, that you don't see any wet spots. If there's going to be, going back to failures in the system, if there is going to be a failure in the system, this is another issue where people don't put enough sand into the broadcast. Basically, what you're looking at is to complete a fast track process is the Ultratop will actually grab and create a mechanical bond to this broadcast, and that allows you to polish it out within 24 hours. And once it's completed, then you just vacuum off the excess sand and get ready for the pouring application. The material is mixed with just water. It can either be pumped or poured, as you can see here with this material. And then what you do then is you use a gauge rake to gauge it out. You can go down at a minimum of a 1/4 inch if you're not going to be polishing it. But if you will be polishing it, we recommend a 1/3 inch minimum. And then the other thing you can see there on the left-hand side picture is make sure the control joints are noted, because you're going to have to honor those control joints throughout the entire system. And what I'll do here is I'll throw it out to Mike on the West Coast.
Thanks, Andy. Now that we know how to properly prepare the substrate for these systems, we can get into the meat and potatoes of the presentation, going over each system. So the first system that we're going to go over, and this is a 3D representation of it, is our Ultratop Natural System. As you can see in the 3D, you're starting with the CSP of 3 for the substrate, and as Andy mentioned, the primer SN for your epoxy, full sand broadcast, and then our Ultratop. Comes in 2 different colors, a gray and a white, and then of course you're going to seal it. With all of our Ultratop systems, they're a breathing system. They have to be sealed. If you don't seal any of the systems, water, grease, oil, any contaminants will stain and damage it. What you can see here is another representation of the Ultratop being laid. The picture on the left shows the Ultratop being pumped, and we have a video of an applicator using a smoother just to smooth out any gauge rake lines. With the Ultratop just poured and sealed, you will have some variations in color, some of the gauge rake lines as indicated in this picture, but this is a workable surface. And then we're going to go into the some more pictures of the natural system. Okay, there it goes. Application for anywhere. This is a retail application. The customer wanted a monolithic system, clean area, and they were able to achieve that. This is our Ultratop Polished System. Again, same surface prep, same application of the Ultratop, but the difference is now you're going to polish the floor. If the end user is looking for a polished concrete type floor, but their existing floor is either a second generation, has a lot of defects, a lot of what we call in the flooring character, and they really want just a clean surface, they're going to go with the Ultratop Polished System. Again, same build, primer, the Ultratop, but then you're going to mechanically polish it, and then again, you're going to seal it with one of our sealers. And then we have some pictures that will kind of highlight that, the application of it. This is a restaurant. They wanted again, a clean surface. This was a second generation space. Another application of polish where you can get into some more decorative uses using different divider strips to kind of separate the colors. The Ultratop can be colored. We only recommend using an integral color. Again, that's limited to your imagination. Pictures of some samples of some integral colored Ultratop. The difference with the integral color versus a polished concrete like a dye or a stain is the color is actually in the mix. So it's throughout, where a stain or a dye is going to sit on top or at the very surface of the concrete. So you get a better representation of the color and more vibrancy of the color by using integral. There's some more pictures, just some more examples of the different designs that you can do with our polish systems. And now I think Andy wants to talk about the terrazzo.
Yep, thanks, Mike. And very similar to the other systems, it's basically one of the good things with our Ultratop line is that the prep and the primer is all the same. So whether you use the natural, the polish, or a terrazzo system, you're getting your CSP of 3, you're putting your primer SN down, you're broadcasting sand into it. But the major difference with the terrazzo system is that while you're mixing the material, you're actually throwing in your marble aggregates inside the mix as well. Typically, it's a 1-to-1, so a 50-pound bag of Ultratop to 50 pounds of marble and aggregate. Mixed together for 2 minutes, and then it's actually going to be trowel applied instead of using a gauge rake to what we're looking at. So whenever you are mixing the material, what you can do is you can use our Ultratop White, our Ultratop Natural Gray, or as well as our Ultratop SP, which going back to the polish system, the Ultratop SP actually has micro aggregates inside of that. The SP stands for salt and pepper. But again, you're mixing a 50-pound bag of marble aggregate to a 50-pound bag of Ultratop. Some people do like to get it a little bit more heavier, so you have a little bit more of a condensed unit as what there too. What we always tell people is just to play with it and to see whatever you like during the application. So going back to going green with our materials, it is just water that is being used. There is no filler, there's no epoxy, no resin or anything like that. We always tell people to usually start off with 4 3/4 quart of water per mix, just so therefore they can play with it. If they need to, adjust the mix, they can with that too. But whatever you do, make sure you do throughout the entire floor. So up next here, we'll show a couple of mixes of a couple of videos of the material mixing. So we do recommend a barrel mixer for this. You can see mixer 2 minutes, pour it into a wheelbarrow, and then wheelbarrow it out to the floor to be ready to be troweled down. We'll get a little bit of a closer video of the material being troweled here. You can kind of see it looks very, very similar to epoxy terrazzo, except for a lot of our contractors tell us that it is a little bit looser. It feels a little bit tighter, nicer. It's not as tight mix, so it can be able to be troweled and finished off a little bit easier. But once everything is completed here, as you can see here, he's bringing it up to your divider strip. Big thing with the terrazzo is you need to make sure you're using a zinc strip. Don't use aluminum or plastic or anything like that, because if you're going to be grinding it, you're going to have color transference from the metal being too soft. So once this is troweled down over top of the your epoxy broadcast primer, then basically you got to let it sit for 24 hours. Then the next day you're mechanically grinding it, just like you would whether you're polishing concrete or whether you're polishing epoxy terrazzo. Start off with like a low grit diamond, finish off with whatever finish you're going to. Most are about a 200 sheen, and then you can go ahead and start sealing the floor. And we can see here what this is a mock-up that we did with our Ultratop Whites with our MAPEI Creep Protector SF. So you can polish this up to like an 800 shine and seal it with a stain guard instead of a typical terrazzo sealer or anything like that as well. And what's pretty neat about this system, and although I'll throw it back to Mike here on the West Coast, but you can do a lot of different unique designs, colors, and things like that as well.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. So what you can see here is, so all the benefits that you could get with epoxy terrazzo, you can also duplicate with the Ultratop Terrazzo system. This is a lobby that we did with Ultratop Terrazzo. They did black, and then they did the inset fleur-de-lis and that decorative S as well. In the next slide, it is a picture. They haven't polished it, but this kind of represents just the different colors, the different shapes that you're able to get using the Ultratop. This is just Ultratop white with various integral colored dyes. In the next slide are some finished pictures of some Ultratop Terrazzo that were done. The picture on the left was done in Southern California using Ultratop white, some integral colored blue. The picture on the right was done in Chicago, as well as these next three pictures. The picture at the bottom left, as you can see with the 3D pattern, you can get really creative. It really just comes down to the shaping of the zinc divider strips and then the placement. But there's no color bleed. The color looks great. And it just kind of shows the versatility that we're able to get using the Ultratop Terrazzo. In the next slide is more of a close-up. The lighter gray is our Ultratop SP with the micro aggregate in the bag. The really light gray with the white and the black marble in it is the Ultratop gray extended with the different aggregate. So again, if you're looking for some really creative options, the Ultratop Terrazzo is a good way to go. Some more example pictures. The picture on the left is a countertop. It wasn't poured in place, but it was poured and then set. You can also do panels with the Ultratop Terrazzo, as evident in this picture. Just want to make sure that you have the right skilled contractor that is able to handle that. We're kind of discussing some of the vertical stuff. I know, Andy, you've got some really cool things you want to talk about.
Yep, I appreciate it, Mike. Yeah, and what we're going to get into now is our Ultratop Loft system. There's two different types of micro-top systems for all needs, is what we like to say. So like I said earlier, the loft can be applied on horizontal surfaces as well as vertical applications too, so floors, walls, and ceilings. What we'll see next here is kind of a breakdown of the entire system. Good thing with this system too, CSP03, primer SN. So you can see in all of our systems, we like to try to keep it a little bit simple and easy for use for our contractors. But what is a little bit different for this system, for horizontal, is what you're going to do is you're going to use a finer coarse mesh sand. So you're going to use like a 2040 mesh instead of the 1630 like we do with our Ultratop polishable or terrazzo systems. Once this system is completed, we'll be doing 2 lifts, and I'll get into break those down a little bit as well, but our Ultratop Loft F, as well as our Ultratop Loft W. And then you can seal it with either our high gloss acrylic, our matte polyurethane, or as well as our high gloss MAPEIUSA opaca with there too. And basically what you're looking at is the Ultratop Loft F, which you can see on the bottom left there. Unfortunately, we are an Italian company. Sometimes things don't translate properly. The Loft F is actually the coarser of the two. The Loft W is actually the finer of the two. So you can see at the bottom here on the Loft F, you have those coarse veins and everything falling out through there. The Loft W is more of like a creamier finish being troweled on here too. And one of the best things about this system, as you can see here with the vibrant reds, is that with it, it comes in a white, it comes in a gray, but then too, we have over 50 different colors that can be matched on it. So you have over 220 different color combinations that you can do with this type of system. So what a lot of people like to tell us is that it makes you, gives you that like Venetian plaster type look without having to pay for Venetian plaster. So what we can do is we'll go over and show a couple different pictures of different type of applications. You can see here this is done on floors, the walls, the stairs, everything with our Loft F, then a Loft W, and then with our finish coat 630, which is our high gloss acrylic urethane. And the cool thing is too is that with us being an Italian company, this is the Museum for Leonardo da Vinci over in Italy that was completed with our our Ultratop Loft micro-topping. So you can kind of see that it is a very versatile, whether it's for stores, homes, restaurants, whatever it might be. And then going over for vertical applications, one of the different things that we have is we have our primer LT, which is your primer going to be used for any absorbent vertical surfaces, or if you have any tile or anything that's hard and non-absorbent, we have our primer grip white. So that will be the only two differences between your wall and your floor. With floor, we use our primer SN. With a wall, we use one of these two different primers. And then just kind of breaking it down from there, it's basically the same system, what you're going to be looking at. So whether you have your wall, then your primer LT, grip white, and then what we do recommend on walls at least is to have 2 lifts of our Loft W instead of the F. Just therefore you don't have those very hard character that you would on a floor. Makes it look a lot more like Phoenician plaster, like we were talking about. So with us going over top of our Ultratop systems, what I'll do is I'll kick it down south to Maurizio.
Hey, thank you, Andrew. Great. So actually, to share these slides can share what we are doing to support our customers. So for us, supporting customers, architects, and contractor is the first key point every day. So as you notice here, we have Andrew Britt on the east, taking care about the east regions. Michael Grimes on the west, taking care about the west regions. I'm based in Miami, in Florida. So actually, we are technically supporting all of the sales reps we have across the states. So this is an easy chart of the local sales reps that we have into the CRS and Cementitious and Resin Flooring System division. So on top of this, we have other 100 sales reps from MAPEI that can cover, again, all of the states. So actually, this is important for us. If a customer like architects, engineers, or contractor are looking for some technical specification, AIA presentation, on-site visit, or pre-meeting, pre-installation meetings. So we are there to support everybody. And this is one of the key preferred contractor program that we have. This is the most important program for contractors. So Michael, please take care about this.
Yeah, thanks, Maurizio. Grazie. So our preferred contractor program is a program that's been in place for 2 to 3 years now. And what it does is it allows us at MAPEI to engage with select contractors throughout the United States that have interest in installing the Ultratop systems or any of our other systems, kind of a vetting process to make sure that the right contractors are using the material, but they're using it the right way. So in the next slide, it kind of goes over, the steps to becoming a MAPEI preferred contractor. Typically how that works is, in one of the previous slides, one of our local CRS reps will identify a contractor that they consider a good candidate or that might have asked about the program. Then there's a pre-qualification between myself or Andy, depending on where it's located at, to again make sure that it is the right contractor, that they kind of have an idea of how to install the material, that they have the proper equipment, and then after that is done, we set up a training where MAPEI provides all the material free of cost, lunches, literature, giveaways, things of that nature. And then all we ask from the contractor is, their time, some small tools, and the manpower, and an interest, and a real interest. So in the next couple slides, it's going to kind of show some of the trainings that we've done. Again, with our system, it's a 3-day training. Because the Ultratop, it is a 3-step process to install. The first day is typically, prepping and applying the primer in an area. If the contractor doesn't want to put it down on their warehouse floor, there are methods that we can do, either using like a cement board, hardy board, We just need something that is going to be able to, accept the primer and the sand. And these first three pictures kind of show the layout, depending on what the contractor wants to see. If they want to see, all three, the Ultratop SP, and maybe a Terrazzo, you could do three. And typically what we're asking for is, a 10 by 10 minimum. Most flooring contractors will run a large grinder to polish the samples, and anything smaller than that is really hard to run a grinder. So this first slide is just kind of showing the prepped area. This next slide is showing the installation and placement of the Ultratop. And one of the things that we do is, Andy and I, we're just there kind of just to help. We want the contractor to be the one installing the material, mixing the material, asking the questions, is this enough water? How does this look? Getting their feedback, because they're going to be the ones in the field, applying it. In the next slide, you can see some of the polishing processes. And again, it doesn't have to be three separate areas. Obviously, the one in the middle is just a larger one where we use some of those divider strips to separate, the different samples. The picture in the middle has Terrazzo, SP, and then Ultratop. They just used a zinc strip to divide everything. And then instead of polishing three separate demos, they just polished one. And these are just some examples of some demos that we did, some trainings that we did. One of the contractors was very interested in doing a terrazzo, which is the picture on the left. The other two pictures are just some, also some Ultratop terrazzo pictures where they just, what can we do? What kind of versatility do we have? In the next slide, the first two slides are actually a practical demo where one of the contractors had a bathroom and wanted to install it. Was like, could we do the bathroom? And it actually worked out better because they actually used the slab on grade instead of like a hardy board or a cement board. And then the third picture is just the finished picture of the lightning bolt. And then we also do some trainings for some of the other systems, which Andy will talk about.
Yep, I appreciate it, Mike. And on the left here, very similar to what Mike said too. I'm sorry, if we can go back one slide. But the picture on the left is showing another practical application. This was an office that was completed with one of our preferred contractors. And the pictures on the right is actually of our Ultratop Loft. Now, one of the hard things with the Ultratop Loft is that it is a very unique floor. And what I mean by that is that basically what you're looking for is you're looking for a consistent, inconsistent finish. And what I mean by that is that every floor is going to be unique. So it is a little bit harder whenever you're doing mock-ups or demos for your end user, whether it be a designer, an architect, or in this case was a homeowner, that you need to do these demos large enough, like Mike said. You can't do just like a one-by-one mock-up because you're not going to be able to see the different shadowing, the different character, the different colors. So, and what we did for this one was kind of break it down with either like a low matte finish or a high gloss finish, and then different colors. You can kind of see what I was talking about earlier with the Loft is you can get very, very technical with these colors that you can do with this system. And with after those, you can see here, this is one of our contractors that actually set up a little showroom where we did a mock-up for vertical applications too. So this is our Ultratop Loft W. As you can see here, it gives you that like Venetian plaster style look that once everything is completed. So if you do part of these with these trainings as well, some of our contractors will actually keep these mock-ups that we do and then show them off for any customer that might be walking up to their warehouse or to their showroom or anything like that. Once the demos are completed, once the trainings and everything is done, then what we will ask for is just to submit an application. The contractor will put in here, who they are, where they're from, bank information, things of that nature. And then once it's approved by our CRS Technical Services, as well as Maurizio, who's the BDL and PLM for this line, then what we do is we send out a preferred contractor letter as well as an email banner. So therefore, you can proudly show off that you are a MAPEI certified installer for whether it's our Terrazzo system, our Ultratop Natural System, our Polished System, or our Loft system. With these programs too, we also have our resin lines, like we were talking about earlier, whether it's our epoxy or our parking deck systems too. So we also have this type of program for not just our cementitious, but for those lines with it as well. So with that being said, we appreciate everyone's time. What I'll do is I'll throw it over to Brianna now and check to see if there's any questions.
Awesome, excellent presentation. We did get a few questions, so I'll just quickly run through them, and whoever wants to jump in and answer them, feel free. The first question, with it being self-leveling, can I do ramps with the Ultratop?
So or maybe we didn't see who was going to answer that one. I'll take it. But yes, you can do ramps with the Ultratop. It is a little bit more trickier. But what we can do is we can lay out a specific design plan for that, whether it's using strips or whatever it might be, or mixing it to be a little bit tighter instead of so loose whenever it's laying out, but it can be completed.
Great. Next question. What is the main difference between Ultratop Terrazzo and epoxy terrazzo?
I can take this. So this is Mauricio. So actually, there are a few difference between systems. So the Cementitious system is based with the cementitious product. So actually, the main difference is the nature of the product that we are using. But for example, talking about installation or design of epoxy terrazzo is the same with the cementitious terrazzo. The contractors, they can use the same equipment that they are using for epoxy or cementitious. The installation is the same. The design can be the same. Architects can design patterns and layout with epoxy terrazzo or cementitious terrazzo as they are similar as a system. So actually, we recommend to do the same approach. We can guarantee of the third-party certification for green projects, and that is maybe a plus that we want to share as a main difference between cementitious and epoxy terrazzo.
Great, thank you. Next question. What is the minimum thickness of the substrate that Ultratop can be put on?
What you're looking at, I'll take this, Sandra, I'll take this question, is basically you need a minimum of 1.5 inches of a strong substrate, whether that be our Planetop EL as a self-leveling underlay, or at least 1.5 inches of concrete is basically what we would need in order to install any of our Ultratop systems. So this can't go straight over top of like a wood subfloor or anything like that.
Great. We've got two more. The next one, can Ultratop be placed outside?
Hey, I'll take this one. No, it cannot. As much as we would like it to be placed outside, the engineering of the Ultratop systems do not allow it to be placed outside, whether it have to do with a freeze-thaw issue, UV stability. The Ultratop systems are only for interior use.
Good to know. All right, last but not least, I am based in Baltimore, Maryland. Can I be contacted to be part of the preferred contractor program?
Yeah, that's great. So actually, this is what we wanna do. So we actually will contact this customer. So and we really appreciate this request here into the webinar. So we will be contacting by this the local sales reps, and then we will be involved in this case. Andrew Preet and myself, we will take care about that. Yes, thank you so much.
Excellent. Well, those are all the questions we received, but to our audience, if anything pops up in the next few days, feel free to email us at mapeidigital@mapei.com. We'll forward the questions to our presenters and we'll make sure we get some answers over to you. Thank you, Maurizio, Michael, and Angie for presenting today, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.